Today I'm going to give you 3 secrets that you never knew can increase your speed when it comes to sewing. One of my subscribers commented and he said he's facing difficulty when it comes to sewing, that he knows how to sew, he's not fast when it comes to sewing. That inspired me to make this video, and I'm going to drop 3 very vital secrets that can increase your speed when it comes to sewing, that can make your sewing faster and make you deliver more works at a faster pace. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel Yasi. Hit the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video you get the first hand notice of it. Now if you have any topic idea or any problem you're facing, or any topic you want me to do a video on, a tutorial video on, maybe in tailoring and fashion, please hit me up in the comment section. When I see it, I'm going to do a video on it. Now, I want to give a shout out to this subscriber on the screen. He actually commented and he told me his problem. He knows how to sew, but he has issues when it comes to speed. He's not too fast when it comes to sewing. That's why I made this video. So today I'm going to give you 3 secrets that you didn't know can increase your speed when it comes to sewing. Now the first secret to increase your speed when it comes to sewing is pressing or ironing. When I was at the Fashion Academy, when I started learning tailoring, I had one major issue. I was very slow when it comes to sewing. Most times when they give us work to do, maybe a trouser or a piece of cloth that takes someone normally 30 minutes, sometimes I'll be battling with that cloth for 3 hours, 3.5 hours, 4 hours, and still I'll not be able to finish it. So I was very slow when it comes to sewing, and it made me, I had this low self-esteem because I felt I didn't have the potential enough to actually become a very good fashion designer or tailor. Now I had that issue. So when I saw the comment from the subscriber stating this same problem, I was touched and moved to make this video. So now the first secret that you did not know can increase your speed when it comes to sewing is pressing or ironing. Now what do I mean? Press or iron all the parts of the clothes that requires pressing and ironing, and let it be set so that as you're starting your sewing, you hardly stand up and sit. Now when it comes to menswear, there are parts of the clothes that while we sew we press, but there are parts that you actually can press it down and get it set, so that as you're sewing, all your items that needs to be pressed are already pressed. So when you press it and you actually pile it together, it makes the work faster. You also cut all the things required. So now as if you sew, maybe you're sewing a bodice or a top or the body of a top, then when you sew it a little, you go to cut the sleeve or you go to cut the cuff, get everything prepared, the pressing and the cutting. So cut all the parts required, cut all the gum stays required, and press all the parts required before you start the project. It makes the work fast. Instead of sewing a little, then standing up to go and press a part, coming back to your sewing machine to sew, then sew a little, going to the pressing table and pressing a part, it makes the work slow. So a work that's supposed to take maybe 20 minutes might take up to 1 hour, 30 minutes. So that was one secret I discovered. Once you press all your parts, it makes the job very easy. You press all the parts, so there's minimal movement from your sewing machine to your table. But there's minimal movement. It makes the pace of the work goes faster, and your work actually goes faster. Now the issue here is most times when people complain that they are slow when it comes to sewing, most times the issue is not from their speed, is from some elements that they need to actually implement, some things they need to get done beforehand before actually starting the sewing. So most times when people complain of slow speed in sewing, most times you find out that the part that they need to press, maybe if there's a gum stay that they need to press on the part of the clothes, maybe collar, to press the collar and press all the parts that needs to be pressed, most times you discover that they are not pressed. So they go to the sewing machine, they sew, then they stand up. When they stand up, they go to the table, they press, they come back. Now when you calculate that time, you find out that the time spent on doing these menial tasks actually takes more, it actually prolongs the work. So you find out that the work, it takes more time and you get it done slower. All the parts that requires pressing or ironing, get them pressed before you actually start the project. If it's a gown, the gown that has a collar, press the collar and the gown. If it's a button-up shirt or a button-down shirt, press the collar, press the cuffs, press the plackets, and everything that requires pressing, so that as you're sewing, there's minimal movement from your pressing table or your cutting table down to your sewing machine. Okay, now the second secret that you can actually implement to increase your speed when it comes to sewing is to reel your reelers down, the threads on your reelers down. Ideally, you are supposed to have 3 or 4 reelers or bobbins set. You've reeled all the threads required. If you're using 2 threads, you've reeled it in like 2 or 3 or 4 bobbins or reelers. The reason why I'm using bobbin or reelers, outside Nigeria, it is known as a bobbin. and in Nigeria mostly it's very popularly called reelers. So either the bobbin or the reeler, whatever it's called in your region, you get all your threads reeled. So ideally you're supposed to have like 3 to 4 bobbin or reelers that you use in a project. So once you exhaust the threads that you are using on your bobbin or your reeler, you can actually replace it faster. Instead of cutting the thread and trying to reel a fresh thread, it actually delays the work and it makes your work go longer than expected. So what I do is, when I have a project, let's say I want to sew a senator wear, a top and a trouser, or when I want to sew maybe a button-up shirt, I make sure that if I'm using a white thread and a black thread, I have it reeled. Maybe the white thread on 2 bobbins or 2 reelers and the black thread on 2 or more bobbin or reelers. So I have the thread reeled that can take care of the entire project without me bothering myself about me exhausting the thread and trying to reel a fresh thread. Because when you calculate the time it takes to actually reel all of those things, it actually takes more time, and it actually affects the pace of the work. Because sometimes you have to stand up and you now start looking for thread, you start looking for this and that. So make sure the bobbin thread, that's the reeler thread, is already reeled and you have extra that can actually finish the work. It makes your work a lot faster. Now this third reason might sound funny, but it's actually true. You actually do your work faster when you do your work faster. Now what do I mean? Now one issue I had when I was still in the learning stage was I was very meticulous, trying to make sure my stitches are straight, trying to make sure that my thread doesn't fall off from what I'm sewing on. I'm trying to make sure that I get a perfect stitch, a perfect curve. Now the thing about sewing or tailoring is, when you try so much, when you pay too much attention on not making a mistake, your work becomes slow and you tend to make that mistake. Accuracy when it comes to stitches, like you're sewing a straight line, accuracy actually comes from speed. I found it out myself. When I'm using an industrial sewing machine and the machine is fast, I get a straighter line. But when I'm using a machine, or for whatever reason the electricity goes off and the machine is slow, or I'm just using my hand to turn it, I find it difficult to get accuracy. So you get accuracy when you are faster. At the same time, you get faster when you sew faster without fear of making a mistake. The reason why most beginner tailors actually get slow when it comes to getting a project done is they are too meticulous, they are too careful. So when you become too careful, you become slow. You are trying to make sure that you get everything set, you are trying to make sure you get your stitches right. You tend to make more mistakes and it tends to slow your work down. So speed here is king. Maybe when you're trying to fix a zip and you're scared that maybe your footer might fall off from the head of the zip, just go through it, just go for it, and make sure you are not slow. When you are more faster in that way, it gets your job done faster and you increase speed when it actually comes to finishing your work. A big shout out to this subscriber for actually stating his problem in the comment section. If you have any topic idea you want me to do a video on, or maybe a tailoring tutorial, or any problem you're facing in tailoring or fashion that you want me to do a video on, please hit me up in the comment section and state it, and if I see it, I'll make a video on it. Please like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Luyasi. Hit the notification bell so that whenever I upload a new video, you get a first-hand notice of it. If you have any question or you have any topic you want me to do a video on, hit me up in the comment section, and when I see it, I'll make a video on it.